What's up, YouTube? I hope all is well. Last night was no joke, so let me tell y'all a quick story time about my little Wayfair, putting them on blast. Yes, I am. So there's something called Wayfair, Wayfair, and some people might listen to this story and say, well, maybe you were in the wrong, whatever. But I know myself, and I feel like these websites or whatever, they be trying to get over on people, but you're not gonna get over on me. Like, I know what I do, and I hold myself accountable. If I make a mistake, I make a mistake, but nah. So boom, the dining room set that I've had it not even that long, and it's falling apart. Like, mind you, I got it from Raymond Flanigan. Shame on you, Raymond Flanigan. I got this from downtown Brooklyn, paid $650, and literally months, I've held on to it as long as I could. That was 2020. That was pre-pandemic, so I want to say 1920 is when I got it. It started falling apart, like the chairs and stuff, in 20, like after my son's birthday, going into 21. And even a few months that I got it, it started chipping, like the wood on the table start chipping, and it's very sensitive. Like, if I spray Lysol on it, it's like coming off. It's just a piece of shit. It really is. And it's hard to get good furniture. Like, even I got a new bed and frame and everything from Macy's last year, and I noticed when I lay on it, if it's like, it makes like sounds, but I have a warranty and stuff for it. But for Wayfair, so last night it was raining hard. I was gonna have me and my son take it out in the street, and I'm happy we didn't do that, because we wouldn't have had no table to eat off of. Wayfair, I ordered it, right? And in fact, when you know yourself, I have a decent memory. Like, I'm not perfect, but I know what I do. I know myself. So I know for a fact that I ordered, I clicked on, and I think it might be the website's fault or whatever, but I know that I clicked for it to be assembled, right? Because I don't know anybody that knows how to put the thingamajig together. So I clicked on that. And so the lady is like, oh, you clicked on the protection thing, not the assembly thing. She's like, the assembly thing is $200 and something. And I'm like, okay, that sounds about right. The assembly thing, I thought it was $100 and something. But bottom line, I clicked on what I clicked on because the furniture was cheap. It was affordable. So it was like less than $400 or something like that. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get that, whatever. And I get home. I told my father, because I had an early day today. I had a half day. The kids had a half day today at the school I currently work at. So I got out early, and I asked my father to come, because they said delivery was from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30. So luckily he was here early, and they was here. I got home almost 12 o'clock, and it was already here. So they good for delivery. Like, they will give you your stuff in a timely fashion. Some places, they'll have you, worried, and won't bring it until after the time sometimes, or close to the ending time. Like, they'll bring it at 2 or something. But they brought it early, nice and early. But these people, like, like I said, it's an assembly to put it together, and then it's a protection fee. But bottom line, it's just better to go in person. I originally was going to go to Macy's anyway, in person, and order the dining room set, because these online website things is like, things happen. So they could be in the right, and maybe it was my bad, But I know for a fact, I know myself. There's no way I would have ordered a set. Cause it actually it popped up. It said, "Do you want them to assemble it?" And I said yes. So maybe there's a chance of I went on the site and then I went back on it and it was just whatever. Like maybe it's a small chance that I didn't click on what I thought I clicked on. But regardless of the fact, it shouldn't even be separate. It's kind of obvious that a person's going to need you to put it together. But then again, it is the internet. So I remember with Ashley Furniture, when I first moved over here, I had to I got my refund from Ashley Furniture, and they claimed that one piece was missing. I got all my money back except for one of the pieces, and they said because, and I'm like, that's not my problem. I know they picked it up. They came here and picked it up. They was like, oh, da 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 da, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh my goodness, whatever. But yeah, Wayfair, I guess for some people it might work out, but for me, I'm going to stick to the old-fashioned go to the store and order the furniture like that, because this is the second time I try to order something online furniture-wise, and there was a mix-up, and it's so frustrating. So I'm getting my refund. They sent me the 4 labels, so I'm going to print it out and put it on the boxes, and yeah, that's for Wayfair. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about today that was heavy on my mind because somebody was talking about it. People talk about single parents all the time. I'm not going to talk about that. Honestly, it's 2024, and if you really think that a baby's going to hold somebody back, I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know if you can call that person a hater. But let me tell y'all something. I'm going to say this very shortly. I'm not going to dwell on this because that's not even what I wanted to talk about today. If you see somebody with a child or children and they're not doing anything with their life, 9 times out of 10, they wasn't going to do shit with their life anyway. Right? So I could really say, for me personally, I was working, going to school and everything before I even got pregnant with my son, right? My son has nothing to do with my life, and I could truly, truly, truly say that. He's been a blessing as far as financial aid I had because of him, this apartment because of him. Like in NYCHA, they'll give you an apartment for being a single parent, and you get the apartment faster. It's harder for couples because it wasn't designed for couples. It was designed for single mothers. My father grew up in the projects, and his parents were married, but like my father said, majority single moms in the projects is geared to help single moms. And most people are raised by single moms, but yet there's a hatred, and it's like, okay, that's your opinion. But it's like people really are fixated on if a person have a child young, they doomed for failure. Like I remember, like my mom is married. She was never a single mom. And I asked my mom when I was little and when I was a young adult, like, why you never did nothing with your life? Why you never did nothing with yourself? She's like, oh, she had me. Mind you, my mom had me at 32. My mom had me late. Like, nobody has kids at 32. She had me at 32. So on my birth certificate. So I said that to say this. She's a perfect example of she chose not to do certain things in her life, right? That was a choice that she made. That was her choice. Or maybe sometimes time runs out. Like she had a job, and then there was layoffs in hospitals in the 80s. But, you know, she didn't really explain why she dropped out of college. My father says he dropped out because he had gigs. Like, he was a musician, and he was like, he dropped out his last semester. Nobody really does that. But bottom line, people are who they are regardless. It has nothing to do with having children. And I resent that statement so much, because you got so many people who either had kids late or don't have kids at all, and they didn't do much with their life. That tells you right there. And then somebody commented on YouTube like, oh, because I put something positive. I was like, I had my son at 19. I'm a college graduate. And you know, it's not just because I have him. I wanted, because this is how I see it. How are you going to tell your child to go to college and complete college if you didn't do so yourself, right? That's hypocritical. A lot of people do it, but I wanted to make sure that I was the example to my son, and I wanted at least one of his parents to be doing something with it, you know. At least he could be like, okay, my mom, X, Y, and Z, you know. So I think, you know, that's important. But I just wanted to briefly share that, like, if you see somebody that has kids and they're not doing anything, best believe they wasn't doing shit before kids. 9 times out of 10. Nobody just is ambitious and has drive and then they have children and it's over. No, they lost that ambition and drive before the kids. There's no such thing as, oh wow, she was such a wonderful person until she had kids. What? So yeah, that's just an excuse. And I hate that people be like, oh well, I don't have a man, I have kids, or I'm not married, it's because of the kids, or my marriage failed because of the kids. Like, I don't understand why we live in a society where we blame children for anything. They don't ask to be here. They really don't. Like, it's not like they knock on your belly and like, hey, I would like to be born. Like, no, they don't ask to be here. So it's like, why do we act like that? Why do we treat children like they asked to be here? They didn't ask to be here. So if your life sucks, you suck. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Get your shit together. Like, I just hate when people say that, like, oh, if I didn't have kids, I would have had this and that. No, you wouldn't. You would still be in your bum ass state. Like, stop it. Like, you wasn't doing shit before you had them. You wasn't doing shit before you met the person you had them with. Just stop it. And people always using kids as an excuse. You didn't complete college because you are not focused. You didn't get that job because it wasn't meant for you. You didn't get that apartment because it wasn't meant for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always say, if I didn't have my son, I know in this economy, I would be struggling right now to pay rent because they wouldn't have given me this apartment if I didn't have my son. So I thank God every day for NYCHA. And people look down at NYCHA like, oh, whatever. Listen, I don't give a fuck about what nobody say. I don't have to work 3 and 4 jobs to pay rent. Hello. So many people, they have to work 2 and 3 jobs with no days off just to pay rent. And God saw fit that I wasn't about that life. So I thank God for my son every day. And I could truly say, you know, if it wasn't for him, I know for a fact I would be struggling in a studio right now and having to work 3 jobs just to make ends meet for myself. So somebody made a comment like, oh, all the people that they know with kids is struggling. Everybody's struggling right now, whether you have a kid or not. What are you talking about? Like, and then another person was like, oh, in poverty. I said, well, what is your example of poverty? Because right now they saying anything under 6 figures is considered poor. Like, they doing away with the middle class. There's no more middle class. So what's your like definition? What is poverty anymore? We all in a struggle whether you have kids or not. And when you have kids, you get assistance, you get Medicaid, you get food stamps, you get housing faster than a person who don't have kids. So I'm confused as to why is it looked down upon in 2024? Like, are y'all hating that y'all don't have these services? Like, I don't get it. And before I had my son, I never was worried about people who want to have kids. Like, why are y'all so pressed? Like, I was telling a few people, I'd rather be a single mom than just single. And that's just me, because at the end of the day, you know, I have somebody to help me wash dishes. I have somebody to help me cook. I have somebody to help me in life. Just when I get old, my son is going to always be there, because I know he will be, because I treat him good. You know, you have what you say, and also karma is real. So I make sure I'm a good mom so he could be a good son. And I just want to encourage all my single moms out there, because, you know, a lot of people said a lot of negative stuff to me, and I'm doing better than them. So you can't listen to the naysayers. You can't listen to the, you can't listen to that, But, yeah. That's all I wanted to say about that. Now, what I wanted to talk about was 4 signs that that person is not your friend. And I was thinking about it this morning, and I was going to do a video this morning, but I was running late as usual. It's like I can never be on. Today, I got to work at 8:04. I'm like, yo, I have to get to work at 8. It's like, oh my God, that bed be so. That's one thing I got. Seamless. I got Sealy's mattress. Oh my God, it is the best mattress. I'm advertising Sealy's right now. Like, that mattress it cost me like $500-$600 for that. Money well spent. I'm glad I spent, everything all together was like $1,700. Worth it. Very worth it. But from Macy's. So you need a good mattress? Yes. But so as I was in my bed, I was just thinking about sometimes it takes years for you to realize that the person you was friends with 4 years was never your friend. So I think I told y'all in a previous video, this girl, in the 7 years that we were friends, she never had a boyfriend. She would date different guys, but none of them wanted to be with her. And it was just, I guess, just bad luck, because right after we were like not cool anymore, my friend was friends with her on Facebook, and he said, oh, Shannon got a boyfriend. I said, I'm happy for her. And while we were friends, she did have a boyfriend, but it was like 2 months, and then he ended up getting married. And after that happened, our friendship went downhill. And I really do feel like right until, this day, even today, just in general, if a woman is not happy in her life, it definitely affects the friendships. I don't care who it is. If a woman is not happy within herself, now you have some women that know how to not take it out on others, but for the most part, women they're gonna take it out, because women are emotional. Most women are. For me personally, I'm not gonna do that. If I'm yelling at you or if I'm treating you away, it's because you are doing something. You are, doing something that's away or whatever. So the number one sign that someone is not your friend, they do not call or text you. Now, this girl I told y'all about previous video, she never called me. I'm going to repeat that. She never called me. Never. When I say never called me, one time she called me, and I was like, what happened? I thought something happened, because she never calls me. I called her 7 years. And some people might say, damn, that's a long time. I didn't mind, because when I called her, she always picked up, or she would always call me back. So the way I saw it was, well, maybe I'm beating her to the punch. Because sometimes that happens. You could have every intention to, especially like, it's the projects where it sounds so it's hot. But yeah, so okay, that's annoying now. Where was I? Yeah, so she damn, I don't even remember what I was saying. Yeah, so yeah, she never called me. Never called me. When she called me, she would be calling me back. Right? She'd be calling me back. So, yeah. That's the number one sign that somebody really don't deal with you or they don't fuck with you. And I thought we was close friends because she would tell me everything. The way our friendship started, I think I told y'all in a previous video. She was having issues with a guy, and she told me just right away, even before we started hanging out. And she was the one who suggested, oh, let's hang out. Because I'm thinking, okay, this girl lives in Long Island. How are we gonna link up? Like, I live in Brooklyn. But she was like, oh, yeah, I'm always in the city. I don't mind coming out there and whatever. And we had that in common because we like to go outside. So we was always doing things together, whether parties. We went to Broadway together with my son. Birthdays especially. She was at all my birthdays. I was at all her birthdays. So I'm thinking this is really a friend, you know. Most people might say, oh yeah, that's a friend. That is not a friend to me, in my opinion, because everybody has their own opinion. Some people think, yes, if you hang out and talk on the phone, that's a friend. And that's what I thought too. But at my age, I'm going to be 35 Tuesday. A friend is not necessarily somebody you hang out with. That's an associate. A friend is someone that when shit hit the fan, they there for you. That's a friend. So we don't never have to talk on the phone. But if you there for me, you're a friend. That's how I see it. Like, you know, it is what it is. You know, someone that's down for you, someone that supports you, someone that they don't have to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just thinking to myself, like, if I was to get married right now, I don't have anybody that would throw my bachelorette party or pay for it. Like, you know, I paid for a former friend of mine. I paid for her bachelorette party, and I had no problem doing it because I felt like she was a friend. Like, she helped me get a job. She watched my son when my uncle died. You know, like, she's what I call ride or die friend, right? So when shit hit before I got my own place, like, I wanted to get shit from, like, I wanted to like rent a room from her parents. She let her parents know my situation, and I ended up, this is when I was pregnant, I ended up being with her parents for like a night or two, and I ended up going right back home. And because the mother she let me know, she was like, well, me and my husband, we work, who gonna help you with the baby? She like, not I, you know, because they wasn't helping my friend with her baby. So reality set in, and I went back home. And I was only going for like a night or two. And yeah, I got my place 2 years later. My first apartment 2 years later. So yeah. But yeah. But that's what a friend is to me. So a lot of people have their own definition of stuff. You know, I had this girl, we have a mutual friend, and I was nice in taking her out for her birthday to see Lil' Kim. She didn't ask me, I offered. And I felt away because my son had what is that? Like He was selling popcorn for his step competition, right? They already had money from the school, but they was just selling popcorn for like extra money. And she was like, oh, I don't eat popcorn. Now, for me personally, the type of person I am, if you do something for me, I'm going to do something for you. That's how I've always been. My parents didn't teach me that. I just know that for myself. Do unto others, have you do it. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like, wow. But then I realized, like, her family weird. Like, her birthday came. Her mom didn't even give her a ride home. So it's like a lot of things that a lot of people are not there for you because others are not there for them. So you have to have, my advice, you have to have discernment to know when things are intentional or unintentional. This particular girl from Long Island, however, I don't know how her other friendships were because she never, one thing about this girl I could truly say, she never talked about nobody, which is excellent and hard to do at times because naturally you talk about people, you be like, oh, this person, this, but her, she never talks to me about anybody. So I don't know how her friend, the only thing she would say little things about her best friend, but nothing negative. She was just telling me about how, because the way me and this girl met, we had a mutual friend, and that friend I met in high school. Him and I, you know, whatever, we were close, and he was annoying. Like, he wasn't really a true friend. He was just, you know, somebody you hang around because it's high school, whatever. But when high school was over, we kind of knew, okay, we're going to go our separate ways because you wasn't shit in high school. Like, he would fight with you and argue with you randomly, and he did that to her too. And that's the only person we talked about. But her friends, she never really, she would talk about them, but nothing heavy, nothing bad, nothing crazy, you know. So that's one thing about her. She's a private person. I give her that. If something about her friend that's personal, you're not gonna know about it. Like, she knows how to keep a secret. She knows how to shut the hell up. Like, and I noticed of being around the other friend I told y'all about, who I was in her wedding, she would talk about people, and that kind of low-key rubbed off on me. And but for me, I'm not going to talk about you if we're close friends. If we're, like, I'm not going to talk about you in a negative way. And if I do, I'm going to bring out the positive. I'm going to be like, oh, but she's like this, and she does this, and she, you know, that's how I am. I'm going to tell the whole story. I'm not going to tell half of the story. But I do vent out sometimes and be like, oh, I can't believe this bitch did this and da-da-da. But, yeah, so that was that with the calling. The number 2 sign that you could tell someone is not your friend, there's so many of them. Number 1 is if they don't call or text. Number 2, they don't come to your events. Now, I have a guy from my high school. It's another guy, and he's married and he lives in Albany, but they just moved to Albany like less than 2 years ago, and I haven't seen him in person since 2014. I tell him all the time, bring your family, bring your wife, bring your child. And he told me, when him and his wife was in an argument, how he brought me up and told her how we made out in high school. I'm like, well, why would you tell her that? Like, there's nothing to tell. And I said, with all due respect, if I didn't want you in if I didn't want you when you were single, why would I want you now? Like, I'm like, yo, I don't have nothing to hide. I have good intentions. You know how some women, they be like, oh, that's my friend, that's a dude, and they fucking them. No, me and him never had sex. We kissed in high school and that was it. But we never like seriously dated. There was no feelings, none of that. None of that. I'm a genuine person. Like, we have a real friendship, platonic. You know, same thing with my friend from high school, the one that we had a mutual friend. Same thing. Like, no romantic interest. That's what a guy friend is for me. I can't speak for other females, but when I say, yo, that's my homeboy, that's my homeboy for real. I don't have sex with my friends. You know, that's what other chicks do. And that's why a lot of dudes, they don't want their mate to have guy friends, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them, because I know too many females that they get lonely and desperate and they cross that line. You never cross that line. You know, it happens. If it happens to be one guy friend, cool. But you have some females that, like, just like with the girl that I'm telling y'all about, you have some females that they mess with 3 and 4 of their guy friends. It's like, what are you doing? Those are your friends. You're not supposed to cross that line, ever. Yeah, so second sign that somebody is not your friend is if everything you tell them, they get offended. I think I told y'all about this other former friend. I knew him from 7th grade. And anything you say to him, he get offended. The last time he cut me off was November 1st, 2022. Because I remember we spoke on the phone Halloween night. And we were talking about PB and Rock. And the next morning, he sends me an essay. And it's funny that I remember dates. I remember it because it was Halloween. I think that's why I remember it. And it's just the dumbest reason that anybody's ever cut me off. Like, we all cut people off for stupidity, I feel like. I'm sure I've cut people off for stupid reasons. Most of my reasons, though, is logical. Like, if I cut you off, is you're a shitty person. Like, straight up and down. Your character is fucked up. Like, if you steal, I'm cutting you off. If we talking and I can see you're not listening, I'm cutting you off. If every time I'm on the phone with you, it's like whatever, I'm cutting you off. If I'm doing all the calling and texting, I'm gonna give you time to get your life together, because some people are not phone people, right? This is 2024, so you do have a lot of people that are antisocial. I have a associate right now. I can't really call her a friend because I don't really know her like that. But when I was reading the article, they was like, one of the signs that someone's not your friend is if they don't share things. Listen, you got some people that are they just private people. They don't talk to you and they don't talk to nobody else either. So yes, that can be a sign, but maybe they just not ready to tell you their business. So I wouldn't really count that. But what I would say is, if every time you try to give them advice, they always take offense. Because you're not going to take offense. Let's say if you have an older sibling, for those of you who have if your older sibling is telling you something, you're not going to take offense because you know that they have your best interests at heart. But if somebody's supposed to be your friend and they telling you like, hey, I don't think this guy really likes you, or I think he playing you. If you take offense to that, what it means is that you feel like they don't have a right to tell you because y'all are not on that level. That shows that y'all are not close. Because if we're close friends, I should be able to tell you, hey, he's no good for you, and you take it in stride, you know. And also, a person that's not your friend, number 3, they don't care about your feelings. So this particular former friend that I knew from 7th grade, he used to say things that were very hurtful, but I didn't really take it to heart because I felt like I knew he had his issues and I knew it wasn't true. His number one thing that he would say to me is, so you having another baby shower? That was his whole thing. And when I look back on it, I'm like, do he have something against single moms? Like, I don't know. But he always used to say that to me from the time my son was born. Oh, you have another baby shower? Oh, you're going to have another one? And I feel like he was saying that to be put down. Because my whole thing is, you know that my parents are married. They was married before they had me. That's how I was raised. So me having my son, I did not plan my son. And I would tell him that all the time. I'm like, I made a mistake. You act like you've never made one. Like, why you keep saying that? Like, oh, I'm going to have another baby shower. I'm going to have another baby shower. I already had to hear that from my mom. My mom would say things like, oh, you going to get pregnant again, da-da-da. And then she stopped. You know, she said it for a while and then she stopped. That was just her opinion, because most single moms, they do have multiple. It happens. They end up in relationships. They trust these men. And that's what happens. It hasn't happened for me. You know, I don't let my guard down with these men. You know, I haven't found the one. So, you know, and he knows, and that's what pissed me off. Is like, he knew my personal business with these guys. Like, most recently with my ex, I was still dealing with him, and he was like, oh, you gonna have another. I was like, first of all, I use protection. Second of all, God forbid if I was pregnant for my ex, that would not be good. That wouldn't be funny, because the whole situation was messy. So for him to joke about that, I felt like was wrong. And I know if the tables was turned, he would cut me off just for, you know what I'm saying? But that's number two, that they're not your friend, because they think everything is joking. They think everything is a joke, and they're belittling and putting you down. That's what he was doing, low key, putting me down because I was a single parent. And it's like, and I said no. I said, why you don't never say when I get married? You know what I'm saying? I said, I plan on getting married one day, and if I don't, you're not going to see no baby shower until there's a wedding, period. And I tell anybody that you will never get an invite from me for no baby shower until I have a wedding. I don't plan on being an unwed mother again, and I've done a very good job. My son is 15, so obviously I'm serious. That's why I didn't understand why he kept saying that. Like, but yeah, anybody who keeps saying something that's rude and you're telling them, hey, I don't like when you, because I would tell him, I was like, Jelani, that's not funny. You know, you keep like basically making fun of the fact that I'm a single mom. What's funny about that? You think I planned this? You think I wanted this for my life? Like, yeah, I'm happy that I have a child, and I'm happy that, you know, my son turned out good and stuff, but I didn't plan this for my life. You know what I'm saying? Now, some women do. Some women, they want kids, they don't care for the man. I did not plan this for my life, so I'm not going to keep doing it over and over, no. Because it's hard. You know, you got to pay family members sometimes. Most of the time, they don't want to do it. You have to beg people. I don't like that part. I love motherhood, but that's the part of motherhood that I don't like. You know, some mothers, they got to stay home with the kids when they're sick. I've never had to do that because he's never been that sick. He's never had no ear infection. We ain't never had to go to the ER. Like, my son is a perfect child. Like, I couldn't ask for a better child. Like, it's like God designed him for me. But yeah, if you have a friend that keeps making fun of your circumstance, or, you know, talking down to you, that's not a friend either. Or if when you tell them something, they take offense. And that's how it was for me and him. Like, I could say, oh, you got wrinkles on your shirt. He'll take that offensive. Like, any little thing that I said. Like, one time he was talking about his girl who didn't have a job. She was just going to school. She had 4 classes in BMCC with no job and no kids, but yet she had no time for him. So I was telling him, like, yo, she playing you. Like, it's probably another man or whatever that she's dealing with, and she's cheating on you, possibly. He stopped talking to me for that, because he felt like I'm not in a position to tell him that. That's what it was. You know, and we're all guilty of it. Our mother and father could say something, and then we accept it. But if somebody in the street say it, we ready to fight, because it's like you're you are not a person to tell this to me, right? So that's number 3. If everything you say is offensive, or what they say to you, you feel offended, y'all are not friends. Because if y'all are friends, you would take it as constructive criticism, like, okay, this person is trying to help me. Now, you do have people that are haters and they are jealous. You would know if somebody's jealous of you or not. I can't teach you that. Nobody can teach you that. But you would know. So those are the 2 big signs. They don't call or text. Number 2, they take what you say offensively. Or number 3, they always have something negative to say. Or did I say, what else did I say? Oh, 4 is they don't come to your events. They, you invite them and their family, and then you're posting pictures for your event on Facebook, and then you look on Facebook and the person is, oh, I'm home, I'm bored. So you rather be home bored than at my event. And I'm having fun. I'm not no boring bitch. So, and I've gone through that with my so-called homeboy. And I just realized, but check this out. It's nothing personal. So when he got married, he didn't tell anybody. How do I know? Because on his Facebook, several people were saying, where was my invite? How come I was... So it's not just he didn't invite me. He didn't invite nobody. Like, it was a private, secret, small wedding, and his friend from church was his best man, and then his wife, she had a maid of honor, and that was it. And then they had all family that was there, his family and her family, and that was it. You know, and that's their choice or whatever. You know, the baby shower, same thing. He said it wasn't up to him. I'm like, whatever, but sometimes when people that's being antisocial or not inviting you to events, it might be because they're just an antisocial person, and maybe they don't care. Some people don't care for friends. They don't care about having friends. And I've learned that over the years. You know, people my age, you have people my age, they okay with not having friends. You know, for me, that's not good, because, you know, that's why people end up in therapy, because they have no friends. What is therapy? You going to talk to somebody, right? So that's what I do. If I'm going through something or whatever, I always have people to talk to, and that's what I'm happy about, you know. But sometimes people feel like they don't have nobody to talk to, and that's why they seek therapy. For me, it's like, you know, I've always had people to talk to, so that's a good thing, you know. But yeah, those are the signs. There's many other signs. I need for y'all to comment, like, and subscribe, and list the signs below. The signs that somebody's not your friend. There's so many of them. And at 35, I'm gonna be 35 on Tuesday. Please, I don't have time for the negativity. I'm at the age of, I'm going to a networking, I'm going to a women's empowerment. Oh, my words today. A women's empowerment event, power conference. I'm going to that. I'm going to a fashion show for women this Friday. I'm going to a networking event. Somebody from my high school, she just opened up a bakery in Cambria Heights. I'm gonna put the information up on my YouTube. Go support, definitely support if you're in the Queens area. If you're in the Brooklyn area, you got a car, support. It's a little hard to get to by public transportation, but if you're in the area, support. I'm gonna put the address on my post. Support. It's called Lady Ashley Bakery. You could Google her and the address. So I just can't think of the address right now on top of my head. I think it's Calfax Avenue, Calfax Avenue, Cambria Heights. going to the networking event, and that's what I'm about. I'm about positivity. My coworker, he writes plays, he writes books. He's on his like 4th book, and he invited me to his book signing this Saturday. I'm definitely going to support. I love supporting people because I know I'm gonna need it. I need support. I need a lot more support for my book, and this is what it's about. But yeah, that's what it's about. Surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people that could get you to the next level. And that's that. Don't be around people that's, won't take accountability for their actions. Because that's what I wanted to talk about, the girl from Long Island. When she was seeing these different dudes that didn't want to be with her, she almost never took a responsibility until I said, and then she was like, yeah, I take responsibility. Like, it wasn't until I said to her, you should take responsibility, that she started to realize, yeah, you got to take some responsibility. The only way it's not your fault is if they come at you like, yo, I want a relationship, and then they cheat and they do them and whatever. Then you could say, okay, you didn't know, whatever. But if a man is telling you he don't want to be with you, and then, whatever, take some accountability. And I didn't realize it back then, but the same way how she wouldn't take accountability for those dudes, our friendship, she didn't take accountability either. So you got to watch out for people like that, when they tell you they sob stories and stuff, because they'll be the same way with you. They'll do something to you, and you could be the best friend to them, but if they don't feel good within themselves, they can't be a good friend to you. It's virtually impossible. And you got people that's in bad relationships, but they can still be a good friend, because in spite of the chaos in their home, they're still happy. Happiness comes from within. I had another former friend. I was in her wedding and everything. She had a good man, good career. She's a nurse. She's been a nurse for at least 11 years now. They have a house in Cambria Heights, I'm told. No, she told me, matter of fact, right before she blocked me. I confronted her about what she was saying about me, and I couldn't understand it. And I was more angry than I was hurt. I was more angry because I'm like, you supposed to be happy. You supposed to be, but you sitting here talking about people and saying things that were not true about me. That's what got me tight. If what you're saying is true, then I can't be tight. But you're lying on me. For what reason? Because you're unhappy. So that's my advice, to try to stay away from unhappy people. Try to stay away from negative people. And when I say negative, like, everything you say is like say you want to start a business, and they be like, oh, it's an inflation now, right? Or you want to get an apartment, and they're like, oh, rent is high, right? Or how you going to get an apartment in this economy? Stay away from people like that, especially if they don't have their own apartment. Please. Like, for real. And I'm so serious. If they not going nowhere in life, they not working, they stuck in their mama house, whatever, stay away from negative talkers, because you'll start to believe in what they saying, and it's like, no. It's difference between looking out for somebody and you just plain old hating. If you tell a person briefly about your relationship and it's not that good, and they tell you maybe he's not a good guy for you, that's a friend that's trying to look out for you. That is not a hater. But you have a lot of people that's like, oh, you a hater. How am I a hater and you just told me this man did X, Y, and Z to you? What are you talking about? But yeah, but we have people that's victims in every story they tell you. Every time they talk to you about something, they always a victim. Watch out for that. Yeah, just watch out for people in general. And to my ladies, take accountability for what the fuck you do. Okay, a lot of these men are the way they are because we don't take accountability for our actions sometimes. For me, I do. I'm like, and even I could say with my recent situation, once I found out his real age, I should have been done with him. Once he told me that he can't be in the same building as his ex, I should have been done with him. Once he showed certain things about his character, I should have been done with him. It shouldn't have taken 3.5 years to be done with him. But you know what? Life happens. And I learned from it. That's the key thing. You know. And those are my thoughts.